Now, I have to say, I really dig the idea of revealing Ark's face at episode 5, because even though the title of this episode alluded to his face being revealed most likely to Ariane, I also was kind of waiting for the bait and switch because I've seen so many shows do something similar where something very obvious is in the title or the preview that's like, oh, the big moment's finally going to be revealed, but then the author keeps it there as like a gimmick or something like that to prolong the struggles because maybe they can't figure out a way to write in other struggles or other things that are going to be, in the case of Ark's Identity, both funny but also disturbing for his life. But the fact that she just accepted it, right? Because she applied logic. Not only has this man helped her not once, but twice in saving elves who were sold off into slavery, that dealt with horrible, horrible shit that was going on. One has a spirit animal with him. An evil person wouldn't have a spirit with him because clearly, like, that's just in their history, in their culture, right? You have someone who can use all these different types of magics that are holy. They're not evil. It's not like he's cursed. Everything about his appearance just comes across as a curse. It doesn't come across as he's an actual skeleton or he's this evil person. But more so, he's cursed by something. So therefore, I already wanted you to come with me back to the village, but hey, maybe the head elder will be able to help you. Even though it is a complete bullshit story, because how is he supposed to explain what a video game is, let alone what a video game avatar is, and the fact that he's now a part of that is just something that's not going to work out. So the idea of a curse in a world that is already fantasy and kind of magical just kind of goes a long way. But I love the fact that Ariane wasn't that like, I'm immediately going to draw my sword. Had that happen after the first little mission that they did? Maybe. It's possible. But I think after seeing so many things about him, from his magic to the company he keeps to the actual character of him, it just makes total sense to believe him rather than draw your blade on him. And I really enjoyed that. To no real surprise, since I did assume something similar was going to happen, the person responsible for the elves in the castle was a horrible piece of shit. And honestly, the fact that we didn't quite see what happened off screen leads me to believe that if he is still alive, downstairs is never gonna work again, which is the most humiliating and best punishment for a piece of shit who went very, very disgusting. But I did love seeing him get his ball shattered by the boot of death, and just the fact that the people who were on the bed get to have their revenge before too crazy was able to happen because they did bust down the doors. But it was kind of interesting to see because last week, right, we had that buildup like, oh, they'll be fine, they'll sneak in, and then there's a big explosion. I wasn't expecting that they cut down a giant bell on the bell tower and then just kind of like ran through the place and just, meshed in with the statues just standing there. Some great comedy in terms of building up to that horrible scene, but man, I love the fact that Ark was able to not only get a reward, but literally, like, he made that man poor, it feels like. He finds the secret stash, and I love the fact that he justifies it, because, he deserved it, don't get me wrong. Why should this man have all those gold bars? Like, that's literally retirement money for you and, like, 10 generations of kids. But I love the fact that in that moment, he justifies it to her as, if they don't have money, they won't be able to rebuild. That's a brilliant idea. And then they teleport and it looks like they have like a Pirates of the Caribbean bounty or something, right? It's just insane to see like how rich this man is. But I'm curious to see like, is he going to have like a magic that he can store that in? Because that's a lot of shit to lug around, right? So maybe maybe they put it in the bank. Maybe there's banks here, right? I don't quite know. But I'm loving how this show, I really like the banter and the chemistry between the central two here, because she is a bundle of wholesome energy. Ariane is amazing. I love the fact that, like anyone who enjoys soft things, she is so tempted by the fuzzball that is Ponta, and the fact that Ponta, not a vicious creature, not something that's ever going to bite your hand because you tried to pet its belly. It clearly loves it. But because it's something that's so almost like religious, holy, and mythical, like you can't touch something that majestic, right? Your filthy, commoner hand shouldn't even go near it. But then she does, and the fact that she's just rubbing it on her face, and then Ark comes back, not mad, not disappointed, just saying, I'm next sort of a thing. I thought that was brilliant. But I'm very excited because now that the helmet is off anyway, and most likely there will be, at the very least, the head chief of their village will know. I'm not sure about the whole village because that is something that I think could be a 50-50 split of there's a reason that the whole village could accept him as a skeleton because he has saved people twice. He does have a very noble familiar almost with him. There's a lot that could let him accept, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if it was only a couple of the other elves who do know his identity, because the only one seemingly who does need to have at least the helmet off would be the village chief himself. So for me, I do like the idea that the helmet is off for her. It still does become a hindrance, because if he randomly lost his helmet off, like, I don't know, say a bandit jumped him and knocked his helmet off, or a gust of wind knocked his helmet off in the middle of a market, people are going to raise their pitchforks and run away in fear. But there also is characters that it does almost feel impossible that you could continue the gag with his helmet on. Because last week, right, with the idea of the dinner, he was able to excuse himself and eat in the alleyway. But if he's going to stick with this girl, there's no way he can continue to do so. And honestly, the longer he had that lie, I think the more distrust there would have been had he either accidentally exposed the truth or was forced to by him. Imagine, like, 4 episodes from now, he still had his helmet on, and then he finally revealed it. She might actually draw her sword in that moment, because why would you keep that from me? Because, seriously, we have all this trust, and maybe you actually are an evil creature. But by immediately saying, I can't take my helmet off, well, why not? If I do, you're gonna draw my sword, I promise I won't. And then she lives up to her word. It just makes a nice natural trust, and I think so many times authors continue that lie, and then it implodes in the character's face, which can be some good drama. But I think it works so much better to just have a natural relationship be built here, where it doesn't feel like it's built in lies, but more so there's some misunderstandings and some confusion at the start. But right now, they're 2 best buds, and I'm really excited for their journey. It honestly feels like we've watched this for more than 5 episodes. Like, honestly, I kind of feel like this is the 2nd season at this point. Like, honestly, just the way these characters click, it just feels like I've known them for far longer than a month and some odd episodes, right? It's just incredible to see this show and how much more I'm liking it as it goes on, rather than it just starting strong or having a strong moment within the first couple of episodes and then kind of dumbing down later on. No, I love seeing the man fish. I love seeing him have general comedy banter, and I love him kicking ass and taking names and enjoying his gamer wet dream, which is a video game world with hot anime babes, and he's just loving it, right? Thoughts if you have any on Skeletonite in Another World Episode 5. What do you think of the chemistry, where this episode went, because they did set up some interesting stuff with the political side of things, because I really do like the idea that, they do have this, like, treaty in their world, and the fact that this man basically broke it by going into elf slavery, and the fact that it does seem like a competition between siblings on who gets the throne, and the idea of who can you trust, because right now I don't trust either of the brothers. The sister, the princess, seems like the only one who we could probably trust right now, but at the same time, I never really know when it comes to royalty, because sometimes the most safe of subjects could actually be the scummiest. But given everything that we saw, like, she seems like the best chance right now. But still, the interesting way of little smirks or rage, right? I mean, you can't trust too many. Like, the king, the father there probably is okay. The princess probably okay. But interesting political stuff for sure. And for a man who's trying to keep a low profile, he's going to get involved sooner rather than later. Even more so than he already has. But thoughts if you have any, let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.